Welcome to Mosaic Arts Online. I'm Rachel Davies, and in this workshop I'm going to be showing you how to work with slate and use it to create mosaic artwork. Slate is a beautiful organic material, and it comes in a range of colours and sizes, and it's a great inclusion in any mosaic artwork. We're going to start off by looking at how to process the slate. So I'll talk you through some options for splitting and breaking up larger pieces of slate like these into smaller, more manageable pieces. We'll also take a look at some techniques using the hand tools to break these smaller pieces down even further. We'll then go on and look at using tile adhesive and thinset with the slate. I'm going to show you 3 basic techniques for setting the slate into the thinset, each one creating a different surface or texture. These basic techniques can then be expanded and combined with other materials to produce a whole range of patterns and lines that you can go on and use in your mosaic artwork. I like to add in smalty to my work, so I'm also going to cover different ways that you can cut and use the smalty with the slate, including faceting the smalty with your wheeled nippers to give it a bit more of an organic feel. There are so many ways that you can use the slate, so we're going to focus on creating a mosaic sampler, like these ones here. A sampler is a really useful tool, as it allows you to practice and experiment with different techniques while creating something that looks good at the same time. Once you have your sampler, you can always take a section of the sampler and use it as a base to create something bigger. A sampler is also a really useful thing to have in your studio as a reference tool. So when you're working with slate in the future, you can refer back to it and remind yourself of the different options and techniques that you have for working with slate. You'll watch me work in real time as I plan and design my sampler, prepare my materials, and work on creating this piece here. This course is suitable for anyone who wants to learn to work with slate, from beginners to those who have more experience with mosaic but want to try using a different material. There's a PDF with suggested tools, materials, and resources to help get you started. I really hope you'll enjoy discovering how to work with slate, and I look forward to seeing what you create.
Rachel, thank you so much for coming to Mosaic Arts Online. I am so excited for this course, and I know our students have been asking for this. You are a very popular teacher with this material slate, and I'm just so grateful that you're here, well, sort of here, being at home in Scotland. We were able to shoot this course remotely, but to have your course with us now is just so wonderful.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tammy. It's just been a really great opportunity to just be able to teach remotely and reach all your students. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So before we kind of dive into the course, can you give me a little background on how you got started in mosaic art? I know you did take one workshop back here in Santa Barbara when you lived in the States.
I started, as a hobby. I went to a mosaic exhibition when I was living in California, in Pleasanton, and was just inspired by the mosaic artwork that I saw there, the very kind of textural kind of work, and I thought I want to give that a go. I took, while I lived in the States, I took various different classes while I was there, experimented with different types of tessera, from glass and smalty to kind of recycled found materials, all sorts of things. Figured out what I liked. And what I liked was the kind of the organic, the stone and the slate and things. So that's kind of what I've pursued.
And you studied once, you said, with Dougal McInnes?
Yeah, so when I came back to Scotland, so when I was in the States, I kind of did a little bit with slate, but I didn't do a huge amount, but I knew that I wanted to. And when I came back to Scotland, it's something that's really easy to get hold of. And shortly after I came back, he was running a workshop in Edinburgh. So I took a day workshop with him when I came back. And I've just continued to work with slate.
And really get your own voice and figure out what makes you happy and what you love to create with it. Now, in this course, you mentioned it in the intro, but in this course, you teach the piece that's there with the green smalty in it. Yeah. And it's really interesting. So you really were able to teach so many different ways to use the use the slate, even with the smalty, but then people can expand on each of those, right?
Yeah. So I'm kind of talking through these different techniques and how you can, it's we start with kind of three basic ways that we can work with the slate and to lay it, and then how to combine those into all these different kind of patterns and combinations, that you can create. So there's lots to kind of get your teeth into.
It is. It's really an incredible course, and it is full of information. Rachel is an incredible teacher. She teaches a very thorough course, but very relaxed. It's really awesome that you talked through this entire course. There's almost, I think, 47 sections. So
just keep talking.
Yes, and watching you work and the footage, how up close everyone can see the way that you place the slate into the bed of the mortar is incredible. It's just, and learning to cut this material. So can people get this material easily, even here in the States? Because I know you have easy access to it in Scotland.
So yeah, I mean, in the States, we've got listed in the resources. There's a supplier on the east coast of the States, the Clean Slate Company. They will ship slate that you can buy, and that's some of this just here. It's lovely, slate to work with. So that's one option. But people can get slate from kind of landscaping places or roofing companies, depending where you live. There are different options to get hold of it.
And sometimes even getting it from the roofing companies can be a recycled material, like it's coming off of a roof. And so it can be used again now to make art.
Very much so, yeah. And some of
awesome.
In fact, quite a lot of the material, the slate that I work with these days is that recycled roof slates. I've kind of got to know a local roofer, and he will, when he's finished a job, bring me the waste from the site, which he would otherwise put in a skip, but is perfect for me to create with. So there's some recycling that goes on as well.
I love in our industry and in our art form how we do make these relationships. You would never think a painter's got to go find some like recycled old paints, things like that. So I think it's really, really neat what we're able to do. And I see you have a hardy sitting there. Do you have to use the hardy in this course?
No. I mean, you see the hardies sitting on a brick as well. So these tools here we're using to break up the slate when it's in these big pieces. But the brick and a hammer is really, the main tools that you would need to kind of really start to kind of break that up. So yeah, the hardy I use, and I don't use it as it's traditionally meant to be used.
Right.
It's more used as a surface. It's because it's metal. It's quite a nice surface, solid surface to break the slate on. And sometimes just to have that edge, but it's having an edge that you can break slate off that's the important thing.
Right.
So yeah, a brick is just as good to use.
That's awesome. And I really feel like after having watched this course that I find it really important that maybe students watch the course all the way through before they start to create, because there's so much information in each of the techniques that you do that can be used for other techniques because of the way that you just talked through this whole course. You shared some stuff, let's say in the middle that could be used, for a technique in the beginning. Would you agree?
Yeah. So there's stuff kind of throughout the, different techniques throughout the course, sort of introducing the basics, but then kind of going on about how, you can combine those different techniques and add in the smalty in this way or that way. And you can see, there's a whole host of different kind of designs. So it's quite good to kind of watch the whole thing through to get an idea of what the different options might be. So you can then think about how you might want to plan, what you want to make and how you want to use the slate to create your piece of artwork. So,
exactly. And would you say that this is okay for beginners, people that are really intrigued by this material, that they could start with this course as well?
Yeah. I mean, we go through the basics. We talk about just breaking up the materials, how to use the hand tools, with the slate, so that you've got all your tessera ready. I talk through working with the smalty as well. We talk about working with the adhesive, prepping the boards, sort of all those kind of basic information as well. So If you've not worked, done much mosaic before, then yeah, I think, you could still, start off with this and continue working with slate, because, it's a great material to make mosaics with.
Exactly. And you learn the basic techniques that Rachel has there on her left, but the other pieces that you see is Rachel's work that she has created over the years. And so it's just a matter of, if this is something that excites you, that you just keep working with it and you get better and better and better at it. And Rachel, I cannot thank you enough for bringing this course to Mosaic Arts Online. It's really a treat to have you. I'm sorry you're physically not here. I know it will happen soon enough. But thank you. Yes, thank you so much for doing this. It's going to be, I think, an incredible course for many people in our community.
Brilliant. Yeah, just thank you for having me, Tam. It's been a great experience to just get all this information on film and let people experience working with slate. It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you.